390 Wagon Master here. So I'm going to do a quick video. Well, for me, it'll be quick anyway. I'm going to do a quick video on this Luiton LT-310SDR. I think it's the LT. Anyway, I'll tell you what, when I unboxed this thing, I was so excited. Comes in at 4 inches in width, about 1 3/8 inches tall, and an overall depth of about 5.25 inches. So it's pretty tiny. It's very amazing. It's just an amazing radio, if you ask me. The size just totally blows me away. Let's back off of here for a minute, and I'll show you the microphone. So I actually like the way this microphone feels in your hand. We have the automatic squelch control right there, the up-down buttons, and a noise reduction button as well, and nothing on the ends. And I've been using this for a while, so it's getting a little beat up. I mean, I've had this thing around, so it's getting dusty and whatnot, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. So we have an RJ12 microphone plug, and this is a little bit smaller than an RJ45. And I know when I did the unboxing, I said it was an RJ45, but you know, I was wrong. What can I say? So it is what it is. Let's just take a look here real quick. So we have a knob here. This is a multi-function knob. I'll show you how that works in a minute. This is our menu button here, as well as color control. I'm filming in the green right now. My two favorite colors are the cyan and the green. And the green was the only one that didn't freak my camera out. I know the 3 and the 8's looking kind of weird, but it's solid. It's just my camera. I've tried different positions and lighting, and it just still does it. Okay, so we have our modes here. We have AM, PA, AM, FM, upper sideband, lower sideband, and then we just do the whole thing over again. All right. This is our beep control. These are dual function buttons here. We have our band. We can change our bands. We have E band here, F, G, H, I, and etc. All right. And if I remember right, it was C band that puts us back on CB band. Yes. I'm sorry, D band. Think of it as a, you know, galaxy type thing. D band is the usual default CB band. But anyway, and then dual watch, RF gain control, clarifier, and then a button lock, which I think is pretty cool. So I mean, the size is amazing. This thing has such potential. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to push and hold, and that shuts it off. We're going to push again here for a second. Tells us we're in our HF mode. This has different modes. We have BR for Brazil. We have HF CB band, which is our just standard 1 through 40, and then the 12 meter band, which was like 24,500 to 26,495, and then a 10 meter band on here that is from 28 megs to 29.7. So yeah, that's good. Okay, so here's the deal with this radio. I do have sound on. Okay, so here's the deal with this radio. I'm actually looking for my other microphone. I'm a little distracted. Sorry. Okay, so if we just want to like turn the volume up and down, like, because that was my default thing. I just wanted to, it landed on a channel. I just wanted to hear what it sounded like. And I went and turned this, and it started changing channels. Okay. So in order to utilize the volume, let's just go to a channel that we want. Let's say we're just going to go to 23 AM. Okay. We're just sitting here on 23 AM. We want to turn the volume up or down. That's how we have to do it. We have to momentarily press that button. Okay. And then the volume goes up and down. So volume for the first click. Squelch, which we have off, and you can adjust your squelch like that. And then we're back. I mean, you've just got your main user frequencies right there. And we have green for receive and red for transmit. So those are some of the basics. I could dive into this, maybe do a deep dive if you guys want. I mean, there's just a ton of folks out there doing videos on these radios, and I kind of want to I want to kind of talk about the truth about this radio. So anyway, so it's nice and small. It's very compact. I mean, you could mount this in anything, right? You could mount this in anything. You could put this in a Ferrari if you wanted or something, and it, you know, it'd fit in there just fine, or Jeep or whatever, and it'll fit. Maybe a side-by-side. That's what keeps coming to my mind, is a side-by-side. But anyway, on the back panel here, you know, this is basically all cast aluminum frame, chassis, I should say, and it dissipates heat pretty well. Yes, it does build up a little bit of heat because, right, like wattages heat. The heat is fairly even, kind of favoring this side, but this is where the final is. So anyway, it does a good job at that for sure, and it's really rugged. I mean, you could roll over the thing, I'm sure. We have a nice antenna connector here, a recessed external speaker jack here. This is 3.5 millimeter, and then a hardwired power plug that is fused. We got our little micro fuse, if I remember right. That's like a 10 amp fuse. So anyway, and then of course, you know, if you have to hardwire it, give us a way to unplug. So we have this plug right here. So pretty cool. It doesn't pull much power, so I'll show you that when we do our wattage test. I will tell you, there are a few things that I don't like about it. So I think that's what we're going to really focus on here, because nobody seems to be focusing on the cons. I'm showing you the pros. The pros, obviously, is the size. That thing is just unbelievable. This is in like a dark blue color. I believe some of these were put out in yellow, and I think there was a red one as well. So that would be cool if they made the colors a little bit more available, you know. By the way, this radio comes in at like 129 bucks, okay? And I'll leave a link to it down below so you guys can check that out. So really, it is menu driven. However, it's not that bad. It's pretty easy to navigate. You get used to it in just a little, you know, short period of time. So that's really not an issue. I like that this RJ12 connector here is like a molded strain relief. That's all molded. That's just one piece, which I really like that. If you have to use one of these connectors, that looks like it's going to be pretty durable. I'm going to be putting this in my truck, so I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the inside. All right, so it has a plastic cover, and the speaker is glued to the cover, which seems to be the way things are going nowadays, so that's totally fine. It's held on by 4 screws, and these are T8s Torx. So what we have here is the insides, and we have our driver final, voltage regulator, power supply section, RF section. So we have that, and I mean, it's just micro. That's just crazy how small that thing is. Yeah. Man, I'd hate to work on one of these. You know, the thing is from what I've seen with these surface mount radios, and I was reluctant when I first started seeing these. I mean, I have to be honest with you. These things have kind of proven me wrong in many ways, but they seem to be pretty darn reliable. And then, of course, we have our little micro plug here. This is for the speaker, and it's just hardwired in like that. Standard little grommet, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, very, very interesting. We do have some VRs in here, some really small VRs. They are marked. They don't seem to do much. And I'm not really sure if you have to adjust those while you're in some sort of a test mode or not. I'm not really sure. Software, as far as that goes, I understand to be almost impossible to get. However, you can get some programming software using the Midland 8001 programming software. And I'm not sure if a cord is going to become available, but go check out Simon the Wizard's website. You want to learn more about this kind of stuff, go over to simonthewizard.com, I believe it is, and check this out, because he has a way to mate this up to your computer and do some adjustments in there, which it kind of needs one. One of the adjustments here, in fact, that I think is needed the most, I'm going to highlight here in just a second. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting radio. The technology is just incredible. I just can't believe that. Look at that. Look how thin that thing is. Man, that's just insane. Yeah, it's like an inch. You know, here, I'll burn an inch. It's about an inch. It's just crazy. Comes with the bracket, of course, the power cord, the microphone, which, again, I like the feel of it. Pretty cool. All right. Now, those are the pros. That's the neat stuff. Let's talk about the cons. All right, so first thing that I caught that was, in my opinion, very annoying, and I understand there is a fix for this. However, I don't think that this should have been let out to market with this particular issue. I think you should just be able to run a CB without having to worry about having to do up some sort of a communications cord to your computer and then going in and fixing these things with software. So here's the first thing that I noticed real quick. So when I lay them on the bench like this, I generally don't use the built-in speaker, and actually it's just kind of habit. I always use some sort of a external speaker. I have many of them around here. So this one here is kind of is pretty efficient, and it doesn't matter whether you're using this or the internal, but here's the problem. All right, so I'm on channels right here, and you can hear this. Okay, so great. Let's turn up the volume. So we're at 0. Let's go to 1. That's up pretty high. Then we'll go to 2. It has a lot of power in the audio amplifier. You can see that. But the problem is, if you want to run this thing late at night, or just have it on in the background a little bit, it's going to be very inconvenient. That first step is just crazy. That first step should probably be a fourth of what this is, in my opinion. Now, you can kind of calm it down a little bit by just hitting the noise reduction on the mic. But that, again, that's twice as high as maybe the first click should be, in my opinion. So that needs to be taken care of. Just the volume's too crazy. Now, would this be a thing in your vehicle or in some sort of like an OHV or something like that? I don't know that it's going to be an issue, but definitely for indoor use it will be. So I'll let you know how that works when I test it out in the vehicle. So that's that. So there's one negative. I think the next one is the noise reduction circuitry in here. And let's take a look at that. Okay, so this has a very aggressive noise reduction circuitry. Whether you're using the DNR, the dynamic noise reduction, or I'm sorry, the NRC, the noise reduction circuitry in it, or the AI generated noise reduction circuitry in here, and it's very, very aggressive. But the problem is it still gives us a lot of static, and I'll demonstrate that. So we'll get the mic back up to the speaker again. I'm going to quickly just turn up the volume. I'm gonna have to speak up a little bit, I think. So we're gonna go in here, and we have our noise reduction circuitry set at 1. I'm gonna turn it on. Now that did quieten things down, but as you can hear, I still have quite the static floor there. It's quite the noise floor. So let's see what we can do here. Let's turn this over here. We have a maximum of I'm quite a ways up. I mean, that is one way you could turn down the volume, but that's just still not right. So let's go to like 3. And that's not too bad. Let me speak into something here. Hello, radio 1 2 3 1 2 3. Problem is though, like the audio signal to noise ratio is kind of low. We still have a high static floor here, but incoming signals are slightly nulled, I guess you could say. And Let's just turn that down for a second. Another thing I noticed on this radio as well is AM is decent. We still have a high noise floor even with the noise blanker on, but when you're listening to skip, say you're listening to the Super Bowl or some of those big stations out there, the receiver gets kind of harsh. It has kind of a harsh, hashy type sound. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. I've never honestly heard a CB do that. So anyway, again though, it's small. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the sideband section. Again, we still have that volume issue. It's just too loud. You could try to mute it down a little bit with some noise reduction kicked in. Problem is, everybody starts sounding tubular, wavy, digital. And I'm not really a fan of this type of noise reduction circuitry anyway, but this radio seems to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, I know there are a lot of people that don't mind that, and that's fine. And, you know, again, these, you know, my comments or my feelings on this radio are very subjective. Okay, so I'm just seeing so many people drooling over this radio, and again, I think it's a super cool radio, but it needs to be worked out a little bit more, and I'm not really sure if that's going to be with firmware, software upgrades, or any sort of a tuning via programming cable or anything like that. But as far as out of the box goes, these are just kind of some of the things that are bothering me with it. And as you guys know, I'm into receivers. I need a good, clean, selective receiver. Lord, I'm in a high noise environment here at the house, and in my opinion, this really tests and separates, you know, the good rigs from the rigs that, you know, maybe need a little bit more work, right? So let's move on to the next issue. Okay, now we're going to have a little bit of fun. I have an amp meter on here and the watt meter, and we are on a dummy load, so we're not interfering with the outside world. So basically, here's another one of the flaws, and I'm going to work this into all of this. Generally, I leave my radios plugged into the power supply. I have several cords that come up from underneath the bench. They're hooked up to a main bench power supply that is on 24/7. I came down here the second morning that I had this rig, and I just felt the top of it. It's just a habit that I do, and it was warm, and it was a little warmer than what I would like to feel. It was a few degrees warmer than, say, just the microphone itself. All right, I mean, you could tell it was pulling some current. Now, I get that. It kind of has to, because, you know, this thing is microprocessor controlled. It's got to have some sort of voltage going to it to be able to wake up when you hit that button, right? But look at this. We're 92 milliamps draw. Okay? So, yeah, if you're, keep that in mind. If you're going to put this in an ATV or UTV or, you know, whatever, and, you know, it has a small battery, or maybe you're going to use this in like a portable DX pack or something like that, just kind of remember to put a main disconnect on the power lead to get this away from your battery, okay? So, I mean, not a deal breaker. I'm just letting you guys know, all right? This is, by the way, this is one of the few radios that I've actually watched some review videos of course, after I went over it. I never watch or preview a radio. I don't like to have my opinion tainted by somebody else. I'm set in my ways. It is what it is. All right. I'm very closed-minded when it comes to that. However, after I've used the radio a while, I'm very open-minded to see what other people are doing. And I'm not seeing anybody talk about these things. And that's why I wanted, and I'm not here to pick on this radio. I'm just here to show you what's going on with it. And hopefully, maybe the next revision or two, this will be more ready for prime time. All right. Again, cool as hell radio, things small. So we've got 92 milliamps here, current draw, and here's what I'm talking about. I mean, right? Like, you got to be able to turn the thing on. Okay, so let's do some RF power measurements. Again, we're on the dummy load. We're not going to interfere with the outside world, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. All right, so this is how you turn the power up and down. This has 3 settings. This has 1, 2, and 3 being low, medium, and high. Okay, so low, medium, high. We're going to start on low. We'll confirm that. Key up, get out of that. So we're on AM. We're consuming 130 milliamps. That's normal. We're going to read this meter here, and I know it may be out of kind of hard to see, but we're on the 100-watt scale, which we'll never, ever get close to. But this is one of my favorite slugs. Seems to be more averaged in real world. So every increment is 2 watts, okay? So we're going to key up here, and we have just about like 2 1/4, 2.5 watts. Just a hair over 2. We're pulling almost 1.2 amps. Okay, now FM's going to be the same, but I'll do it anyway. It's kind of my habit. So if I do that further or down the line in this test, bear with me. Old radios used to not be this way. There were some old radios that were considerably inefficient on FM and would pull a lot more amperage. And then some radios put out like double the power. So you never know. So you got to test it. Again, we're at that just slightly over 2 at 1.17 amps. Okay, so that's cool. Now I'm going to do sideband, and I do not do the two-tone test generator stuff because A, that's not real world, so I live in Realville, so this is how I do it. So there you go. Okay, we're going to go 1 and hello, 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 hello. So I'm seeing just under 4 watts at, what was that? Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah, 1.4 amps. Okay, so there you go. Just for giggles, we'll do some PEP feel-good watts. I'm not going to do this very often though, all right? Hello, 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 hello. And see, that just says just over 4. So there you go. These little radios are weird like that. All right, so let's go back to AM. And let's change our power setting. We're going to go to medium now. We're going to confirm that. Quick key to get out of it. And here's what we have now. We have about 4.5 watts. Okay, and actually, I'm reading that wrong. We have about 5 watts. Yeah, about 5 watts, a little under, with an 1.5 amp current draw. Of course, AM or FM is going to be the same. Okay. We'll go to single sidebands. Hello, 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 hello. Audio. 6, 7 watts. I did see a peak of 8 there real quick. What was the amperage? Hello, 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 hello. Audio. I saw a maximum of 1.8. Very scientific here. All right, so there you go. It's real world, honestly. I don't know about you guys, but I don't drive around with two-tone test gear and, all that stuff. So anyway, there you go. All right, let's go to high power, confirm, key out of it. All right, let's go back to AM. Now we're getting about 9 watts. 9 watts dead key. Almost 1.9 amp draw. See if it RMSs at all. Audio. No, it doesn't move. All right, just for giggles, we'll put it in some PEP feel-good watts. This is audio. So about 14. Okay, I'm happy with all this. This is great. This is very predictable, and I like to see that. All right, let's go to FM, which, of course, as you know, is not going to make a difference, but humor me, please. Again, the same, and we'll go to single sidebands, and we'll go audio. There's 12. There's 12. Audio. About 2.3 amps max, 2.1, 2.3. Not bad. Let's put it in PEP feel-good watts. This is. And hello, audio. So about 16. And what is this thing rated? 15 PEP. So there you go. That's exactly where it should be, in my opinion. So I'm happy with that. And again, 133 milliamps at receive. Anyway, that is fun. I like that. Yep, definitely pretty cool. Look how small that thing is. Is that not crazy or what? All right, so this is something that was kind of throwing me off. And Look how small that thing is. Can we talk about that again? No, anyway. All right, I've had it. I mean, look at this. This is old school technology. I mean, we have gone a long ways, haven't we? So, yeah, I got my girl plugged in here. I'm going to use this for a receiver. So, as you know, a lot of these modern radios will give you kind of like a delay effect. There is a little bit of latency in the audio circuit as far as transmit goes. And what that will do is it'll delay you like a couple hundred milliseconds. All right. So if like from the time you actually say the word, well, let's just demonstrate. Okay. Okay. So I'm on the lower side of 38, and this is what we've got going here right now. I may have to re-clarify. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to talk like I normally do, and then I'm just going to unkey, you know, like you normally would. And see, that's what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what it does is that delay will also cut you off on the tail of your transmission. So if you're a quick unkeyer like I am, it can interfere. But this is what's interesting. I have the noise reduction circuitry on for receive. So let's turn it off, and we'll see if that kind of stops the latency effect. Yeah, I don't know, a little bit. Hello, audio. There you go. Watch the meter over there, right over there to the side. See that? Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely interesting. Sometimes it's more annoying. And again, sometimes I'm seeing that it's having to do something with the AI circuitry or something. Something's doing it, but it is kind of annoying. Again, I'm a quick unkeyer, so you know, I was talking to my buddy Darren the other night, and he's like, "You're cutting out," and I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's cutting out like the you know, the last part of your you know, the last part of your word." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." So yeah, that's kind of interesting. See, there you go. That's kind of interesting. Interesting. There we go. Maybe I've just got to learn how to enunciate. To enunciate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's weird. I'm having a hard time mentally processing that. But anyway, there you go. I think the radio's size is super, super cool. I can't wait to see more radios like this on the market, but really, I can't wait to see Luiton work all the bugs out. Again, go check out Simon the Wizard. Those guys over in Europe are way ahead of us on this kind of stuff. So maybe bookmark his site and then see what they're doing to, you know, fix these little tiny bugs. I think I've caught them all. Let me see here. Volume 2 high, delay and transmit audio. Let's see, high noise floor. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Look, if you own one of these and you found some other bugs or glitches or whatever, post them down in the comments. I'm sure folks would want to know. Am I saying don't buy this? No, I'm not saying that at all. You know, it's $129, right? So, being the size that it is and everything, I'm still going to give it a thumbs up. Big old fat thumb up right there. Not 2 yet. I think we'd get 2 maybe when bugs are worked out a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing in my mean mobile, and I'm going to give it a shot in the truck, and we'll find out how the noise blanker circuitry goes, the AI noise reduction, etc., and how it repels, or if it repels ignition noise. I don't have ignition noise in my vehicle, but I hear like little Honda CR-Vs pull up next to me. I can hear their fuel injectors. Teslas, I hear their noise and stuff on some of the other radios. So we're going to see how this goes. As you know, I really actually use the gear So I want to give you guys as much information as I possibly can and try to cut down on the misinformation. So I'm not here to influence purchases. I'm here to show what these radios are really doing. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate you guys subscribing. I really do. You know, let's just see where this goes. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. Let me take this camera off this tripod here real quick. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Man, that is cool. Cool beans, guys. Cool beans. All right. Please leave questions or comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one.